Greetings builders, Daniel here, and now that we have the patch notes for the new league Trial of the Ancestors, it's time to start releasing 12 definitive starter builds. This is a video with 4 parts, and you can find links for all of them together with POBs and complete guides in the video description. Let's start this video with a classic chaos build that is great for beginners. I'm talking about the Essence Drain Occultist with the Witch class. Essence Drain is a skill that drains the life of your enemies and even restores your life by a percentage of the damage dealt. Since it can only be used in one enemy at a time, we also use Contagion to spread the damage, resulting in an amazing increase in clear speed. To list the pros of this build, I would start with how easy it is to play. You just need to cast Contagion and Essence Drain to watch the whole screen of enemies melting before your eyes. This character is also very easy to put together because it doesn't need any mandatory unique item, and above all of that, it's very safe with many defensive layers. Now to list the cons, the first thing that comes to my mind is the boss damage. Even though this is a very cheap build, you need to invest several Divine Orbs to have a big single target damage. But don't worry too much about that. This build is meant as a red map farmer and it kills map bosses easily even on a low budget. As for budget, this build is very cheap. You can get it destroying early endgame maps with only around 35 chaos. To comfortably advance to yellow maps, you need to invest around 100 chaos, and for easily completing your Atlas, I recommend investing around 4 divines, but you can totally do it with less. Don't forget that on PoEbuilds.net you can find a list with all the equipments that you need to buy for this build, with direct links for examples being sold by other players. For clear speed, I'll give this build 10 out of 10. When you get a big area of effect in your Contagion, you kill enemies way beyond your sight with only one cast. The boss damage on the other hand is a 7 out of 10. It will take longer than usual to kill Guardians and Pinnacle bosses, but you have no problem against regular map bosses. For the survivability, I'll give it 9 out of 10. This build comes with over 100,000 effective HP because of high armor, high evasion, spell suppression, amazing life regeneration, and even a little bit of block chance. Next, we have my favorite starter build of all time, the super cheap, easy and powerful Arc Totems Hierophant with the Templar class. On this build we use many totems that cast the Arc skill for a fast and safe clear speed. Listing the pros of this build, I would start with how cheap and easy it is to complete your Atlas using this beauty. With almost no investment, you have a powerful, safe and fast character that will be the perfect currency farmer for this and future builds. Now to list the cons, this build doesn't have access to evasion or spell suppression, but don't worry, Totem builds are very safe to play. Another issue is that some players might find this gameplay to be a little tedious and too easy, but as you know, this is just a matter of taste. As for budget, I can only estimate it for now based on previous prices, but Arc Totems used to be one of the cheapest builds in existence. You can get it destroying early endgame maps with only around 35 chaos. To comfortably advance to yellow maps, you need to invest around 90 chaos, and for easily completing your Atlas, I recommend investing around 3 divines, but you can totally do it with less. This build needs 3 mandatory unique items, but they are normally very cheap and easy to get. The first one is the Soul Mantle Armor, that causes Socketed Gems to be supported by a level 20 spell totem. This grants us an extra support skill gem. We also need a Kikazaro Ring to counter the effect of curses. This is because a side effect of Soul Mantle that will apply a random curse on you whenever a totem dies. Finally, we also need the Self-Flagellation Jewel that grants up to 20% increased damage for each curse on you. Thanks to Soul Mantle, you'll be always with around 9 curses, resulting on 180% increased damage. For clear speed, this build gets 9 out of 10. Arc is an awesome skill that chains through many enemies and easily clear big packs. This build counts with 4 totems casting this amazing skill. The boss damage deserves 9 out of 10. With the right debuffs and all 4 totems summoned, this build can take even big bosses down without any issue. For the survivability, I would also give it 9 out of 10. As a totem build, you always be far from action while your totems do all the work. So if you know how to mind your position, you can easily complete high tier maps with low grade gear. Above all, this build still comes with high armor and high block chance. Finally, we have the popular and reliable Spark Inquisitor, also with the Templar class. Spark is an erratic lightning skill that runs on the floor, killing any living thing that has the misfortune of crossing its way. To list the pros of this build, I would start with how easy and simple it is to play it. You don't need to aim or anything, just cast the spark and they will run on their own and get the job done. This build also needs only one mandatory unique item and counts with great boss damage and survivability. Now to list the cons, I would point that the clear speed is not very smooth because you end up having to cast spark many times. It's almost like a Raging Spirits build. Another issue would be the lack of evasion and spell suppression, but don't worry, we have many other defensive layers here. As for budget, you can get it destroying early endgame maps with only around 85 chaos. To comfortably advance to yellow maps, I recommend investing around 120 chaos, and for easily completing your atlas, I recommend investing around 4 divines. You need only one mandatory unique item for this build, the Call of the Brotherhood Ring that converts 40% of lightning damage into cold damage. This is great because it frees enemies for more survivability, and we also use Herald of Ice for more clear speed. For clear speed, I'll give it 8 out of 10. Spark projectiles have a long duration and pierce enemies, so after you cast them they go through a long distance killing many of them. But since you can't control their path, you end up having to cast many times and that might slow you down a little. The boss damage is great and deserves 9 out of 10, especially when you find yourself in a closed arena where the spark projectiles can hit the target many times. For the survivability, I'll give it 9 out of 10. This build comes with an amazing regeneration, healed life plus energy shield pool, high armor and block chance. This can even be better if you invest a few Chaos Orbs buying a replica Soul Terror belt for the corrupted soul.
And that's it for today, guys. Stay tuned on the channel because many more starter builds are to come. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments and give a thumbs up to support the channel. I wish you guys an amazing day and don't forget to keep building.